Found out H, 35M, sent payment to a random girl while in Vegas and I, 28F, don't know what to think. Update again. We decided to end it. And I feel like all of this time he's just been waiting to get rid of me. As soon as I brought separation up, he said, okay. And he was nice about it. Like, really nice. Didn't seem upset at all. Makes me feel like he doesn't and didn't love me. And worst of all, it makes me feel sad, so sad and pathetic that I'm crying over it. We have 3 children together and I've been a stay-at-home mom since my oldest was born, she's 6. Literally, and I mean literally, have had no one but him since I met him. I have 0 family and 0 friendship. Had 0 life outside of being home. I just feel overwhelmingly alone when I keep thinking about it. He's offered to keep paying all of our bills, rent, necessities, everything until I can get a job. I guess it's a good thing. I just wish I would stop feeling sad and crying over its sad face. I literally have no one to talk to. But it's a good thing we're ending it. Update. So, I confronted him and he ended up leaving after I asked him to. He said I got the dates confused. He said he never paid strippers for anything extra and that the transactions I was looking at are for something else from when he was working in Vegas the month after the bachelor party and he had to stay with his coworkers. I did get the dates confused. But why are you sending $250 to a girl with the username, snatched, blah blah blah. He did not do it once, but 3 times while in Vegas working. He sent me texts stating, everyone else, meaning one of his friend's wife, who is okay with her husband being around strippers as long as no touching, is past it but you're not. Like it's a fucking stripper. Go get a stripper. Way to feel insecure about a goddamn stripper. A stripper that mainly cared about, bachelor's name. Cause we paid for him and we were in the room. We have been together for nearly 7 years now. This morning, I went scrolling down his payment service app, transactions out of boredom and found one he sent to a random girl for a couple hundred plus and the note state, for salad. This was during a trip he took to Vegas with his 3 friends, mid-30s, for one of the friends' bachelor's party. I have to add some background regarding this trip. Husband was texting back and forth with his friends about getting strippers for the one friend who was getting married. He hid this from me and was deleting those texts. I found out while using his computer and a text had popped up and I clicked on it. He has his phone connected to his computer and uses his computer to text when he works. I decided to subtly approach the subject to see what he would say. He denied it all. It's strange because when I looked on his phone, the portion of the texts about the strippers was missing, but I could see the entire thread on the computer. So I told him I saw said texts and he came clean. And I used this word very loosely. And said they were just discussing it and they were just going to book them for just the bachelor for a private show in his room. I expressed to him my feelings and told him I was not comfortable with him doing whatever they had planned with the strippers. He promised it was just for the bachelor and he would have nothing to do with it and I naively believed him. I confronted him about deleting the texts and he said he didn't want to upset me. So, therefore let me just sneak and do SHT behind your back SMH. The date on which they were supposed to get the strippers for the bachelor, he did not once call or text me as he was the days before, he just texted mid-afternoon saying he was about to go eat. I was needing his help to find a document and I sent a couple of texts, 2-hour increments, and he was not answering at all. He finally answered the following day. I blatantly asked him if he was with strippers that night and he said no and that they actually changed their minds about it because his friend's fiancé was not going to be okay with it. FF to when I finally found out he lied to me a month later because his friend was asking him for money to cover his part of the stripper bill. I confronted him again and told him, so after we had that talk before you left and you promised you wouldn't, you went and did it anyway and lied about it multiple times. He called me crazy, asked me what the fuck was wrong with me that he didn't do anything and it was just his 2 friends plus bachelor who were with the stripper and that he had left the room. So, I said I'll just go ahead and find out for myself since he wasn't going to be honest. So I took his phone and proceeded to text his friend about the trip. His friend was oblivious to the fact that it was me texting and not husband. I asked why should I pay anything I didn't get anything out of it. His friend texted back, what do you mean? When the strippers came to our room that's when the real shenanigans started. You even got a lap dance so it's fair for you to pay for some of it. So, husband started going off about his friend saying that the friend is dumb, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. It took back and forth arguments for him to finally admit, and he minimized his part in it saying it was mostly for the bachelor and he just got a lap dance because he was drunk, and so what? FF to today, and I find a transaction for the $250 that he sent to some random girl while in Vegas, and I'm wondering if it was one of the strippers. It says, for salad, and I have no clue what that means. Should I confront him about it? I'm just not sure what a $250 salad is and not sure what to think anymore. You have all of the evidence and you're acting as if you don't. It's time to end the self-doubt and let yourself be hurt. He cheated. I say this with peace and love. Why bother confronting him when you know he's going to lie? He seems like a habitual liar. If I were you, I'd do some online research into this woman and find out if she's just a stripper or actually an escort, because that's fully legal in Vegas, and no matter what you ask or what you do, your husband will lie and minimize for as long as he can. Make an account online as a dude and ask her what kind of services she provides. Personally, I'd leave him just because he lied. But if you want to stay with him, you should find out if his wee-wee stayed in his pants or if you need to get tested. You know exactly what to think. Why are you playing yourself? You already know he's a liar and a cheater, and not even a good one. What are you waiting for? An STD? For a strange woman to show up on your doorstep with a cheater, Junior? I know you're tired, but unfortunately it's time to go to work. Call a lawyer and a financial investigator. He cheated with a sex worker. Ask those friends in front of their wives. You're not going to get the truth from him. Honestly, the length you have to go to just to get a pinch of truth out of this man is exhausting to read. I can only imagine how it must be to live it. My advice is to leave him. Cut your losses and focus on protecting your peace. Cliché, I know, but this man cheated on you and I feel like you're splitting hairs with the details here. My 28F partner, 30M, admitted to sleeping with someone at a wedding. Should I forgive him? My 28F partner of 9 months, 30M, admitted that he slept with someone at his friend's wedding. We have been seeing each other for the last 9 months, talking on the phone multiple times a day every day. When I say every day, I mean literally every single day. I got out of a really toxic relationship last year, and was not expecting to find a connection like the one me and my partner, who we'll call Tom, had. Initially, when I matched with Tom, I expected it to be a fling. But we began hanging out often, sleeping together, and I eventually started to trust him and open up. We both went through some extremely hard life changes regarding our careers, health, and even family struggles, but supported each other throughout this time. It was really nice having someone I felt I could trust and actually rely on. I knew that even if we didn't end up together long term, I wanted him in my life no matter what. The sex was great, and the chemistry and banter made me believe that it was possible to form a deep connection with someone again. We went out consistently on dates. I'd met some of his friends, and I genuinely felt like he was my best friend. I will admit, we have been in a gray zone. There was a mutual understanding that neither of us were talking to or sleeping with anyone else. I trusted him. So cut to this past weekend, he goes out of town to his friend's wedding. Normally, he would call me when he got back to his hotel room, or in the morning when he woke up. He didn't. I texted him to make sure he was alive, and then he called me when he was heading to the airport. We talked a few times a day from Sunday to Tuesday. Cut to Tuesday night, my anxiety had been really bad for no reason. And I felt like I knew he had slept with someone. We were talking about the weekend when I just point blank asked him if he had slept with anyone, and he told me yes. He said he didn't want to ruin everything by telling me. I was in shock, said some things while he cried and hung up. The next day I had him call me because I wanted to know what happened. Apparently, his friend, who knew we had been seeing each other, who I'd talked to before, and his fiancée had set up a whole thing for Tom. When Tom got to the reception, he said they had seated him next to the girl. Tom said they didn't really talk much until the after party. Everyone went back to a hotel room and they were all drinking a lot of tequila. He told me that she asked her back to her hotel room and he agreed. They had sex and he said he couldn't handle the pressure from everyone. He was sobbing on the phone, and I was in shock. He started telling me he would literally do anything to still have me in his life. He said I could literally send him a list and he would do anything. He apologized over and over. It was the saddest phone call I think I've ever had. Now I don't know what to do. I told him I needed to not talk to him for I don't know how long. But I sincerely care about him, and love him so much. Is it worth having him in my life as a friend? I feel like I have cut so many people off in the past, and it kills me to do that. Genuinely, like I don't know if I can with him. Would you forgive him? And is it my fault for not pushing the exclusive talk? Is it my fault we weren't technically boyfriend, girlfriend? I hate dating in 2023, it's such a clusterfuck. Please help. Too long did not read. Guy the first was dating for 9 months, sleeps with someone at wedding. Now I don't know if I can forgive him or if I should cut him off. He caved under peer pressure. He is a grown-ass man, he mad his own grown-ass decision. He didn't sue this because of peer pressure. Don't let him try this whole list and boo-hoo act. Because that is exactly what it is. ANACT. He will do it again if you take him back, this isn't a one-off. Are you seriously going to sit and worry every time he is away from you, wondering what his friends' peer pressure is making him fuck now? Walk, don't run. The fact that he hid it from you and then tried to disguise it behind the exclusive conversation kind of tells you he knew it was wrong. If you meant to him as much as he says you do, he wouldn't have done it. Do you want to date someone who sticks his dick into people when his friends pressure him? Not him crying LMAOOOOO. Was he crying when he was having sex with that lady, loudly crying, loudly crying? Already wasted 9 months, don't waste any more time with the dweeb. Peer pressure my ass. I'm sorry this happened to you, but there's no forgiving cheating. None. My 29F boyfriend, 30M, spent hundreds at a strip club and lied. So with a little context, my boyfriend and I have a pretty good relationship. Usually there is a ton of trust and love. But we have had to work for that as the first year was a complete mess on both ends. Anyway, we just welcomed a baby less than 2 months ago. Our friends are getting married and they were having their bachelorette parties on the same night. I opted to stay home with our baby because baby was only 5 weeks at the time and I'm just not ready to leave yet, but encouraged him to go because it's one of his best friends. Now, the man who is getting married is not the most faithful man. They have had issues with escorts and cheating not even a few months ago, so I just kind of assumed strip clubs were out. My boyfriend and I have, what I thought, very strong boundaries on this kind of thing in our relationship. I totally understand that this is a bachelor party thing and guys will be guys. I don't agree, but I guess I can understand why he wouldn't sit it out. My issue is he wasn't supposed to stay out all night. The bachelor party started at 5 p.m. and we do have a newborn at home. He left his phone at his buddy's house so I wouldn't see his location at the strip club, which made him unreachable from the hours of 9 p.m. until 3 a.m. Not okay to me because again we have a newborn. I am also on unpaid maternity leave, so he is supposed to be the backbone of our family financially. We don't have a ton of money stacked up due to massive home renovations right before our baby arrived, and he spent $600 at the strip club, leaving him with a whole $50 for us for the week. And to top it off, I had to find all of this out from one of the guys that went. At first I was upset at him for being unreachable for those 6 hours, and he made me out to be a complete psycho and gaslit me so badly into thinking I overreacted. Then I found out about this a few days freaked out. I asked him not to come home and he thought I was out of line. Mind you, he wasn't the one that told me, but he claims he was going to. I found out 3 days after the fact. My concern now is, what could he have spent $600 on? I don't know how this works. He said he only got 1 lap dance, which even just that makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. Especially considering I am not even 2 months postpartum and just am not very confident right now. It has made me feel like complete shit. Then claims he bought the groom's dances and got him on stage and then lost his wallet and got $200 stolen from it. It's a dry bar, so he couldn't have blown tons on booze. I just don't know what to believe since he wasn't even honest in the first place. Would you leave someone over this? Between the sneaking around, lying, and the lap dance, I just don't think I can look at him the same anymore. This was 2 weekends ago and he knows I am still very hurt by this. I have told him I'm not sure what I want to do. He never does anything like this. He made my pregnancy and labor an actual dream. I couldn't have had a better partner for that time. But it really hurts knowing he could go out and cross this boundary we have set, knowing I'm at home alone that late with our newborn baby. Skeptical smiley face. The amount of money spent seemed totally understandable till you said it was dry there. Maybe you should push for a more detailed breakdown. I get by 1 lap dance. What $40 say? Maybe buys 2 for the groom-to-be, so $120. Say 2 Red Bulls for him, 2 for groom, $15 each? That still only brings us to $180. Entrance fee maybe $20 a head. Say he chipped in $5 to cover groom. $205. Did they partake in recreational drug use? Drink elsewhere? You know what he spent it on. You are with a cheater and a loser. I'm sorry. The idea to pay a sex worker to grind in you and who knows what else is disgusting. He start planning your own future with your baby. Yeah. That's a huge red flag. Location flag. $600 can be spent in less than 30 minutes at a strip club. If he was paying for drinks and dances for the groom, that would more than cover it. Talk to him about your concerns, let him respond or evade. Then decide what to do. My F24 boyfriend, M21, is bad at in bed and has a very small penis. What do I do? Me and my boyfriend have been dating for approximately a couple months now, and we've only gotten involved sexually 4 times now, and each time it's been so awkward. Just to note, he is not a virgin. He has been sexual with past exes, so it's not like his first time or anything. But it just seems obvious that he isn't experienced with his hand placements and how he goes about getting into things. It's just awkward. When we would get into foreplay, he would completely miss my clit and continue to touch and rub everywhere around it. It was to the point where I tried to help him, but it was like he was getting embarrassed with me reaching down to try to adjust his hand slightly. And I asked him if he knew where the clit was, with him responding with yes. But once I let him continue, he would just continue with everywhere but my clit. And then earlier on, like after the first time doing things, he would vocalize how he would be excited to go down on me. Only reason he didn't then, 'cause I was on my period. And then when the perfect time for him to go down on me came around, he didn't. It was like he was avoiding it. But once we move on to the actual sex part, I just simply barely feel anything. It's just not satisfying for me. Not to mention the endless amount of times it slips out. Anyway, overall, in the beginning of the relationship, after the very awkward first time, I decided to wait and see if he was just better in bed, 'cause there are a lot of men out there with relatively small penises but are still good in bed, like there's a difference. And to be honest, I was waiting to see if that was the case, 'cause if it was, I can work with that. But it hasn't, and now I simply don't know what to do, 'cause he is a big sweetheart, but I'm 24 and him 21, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life with a sad sex life. And I believe a big aspect of this is the fact that his past exes have faked their orgasms, thus he learned the wrong things, thinking that women must like this thing that he did before 'cause they got off on it. But I don't fake my orgasms, and I have not gotten off with him at all. Before I get comments about if I have talked to him about this or not, I have to a limit without bringing up the fact that he has a smaller penis. I have vocalized that I need more foreplay, I like certain things, etc., but it's just still has been bad, and to be honest doesn't make me crave sex with him. And I am thinking that we are just not compatible. I hope that this doesn't make me sound selfish, but I feel terrible feeling this way, 'cause it's starting to feel like he's a really good friend that I kiss. Any advice or tips to ease the blow for eventually ending things with a big sweetheart? Bad in bed isn't a big deal. Bad in bed and won't take constructive criticism is a huge deal. You're only a couple of months in and you're not compatible. Time to move on. That's what dating is for. I think you're a wonderful person, but I want to break up because we are not compatible. I had sex with a guy with a small penis and he was amazing at going down on me. Then the sex after was pretty great. It seems like your dude just doesn't know what he is doing. You are incompatible. He is not listening to your needs and is prioritizing his ego over your enjoyment of sex. It's not about the size, it's that he's refusing to please you.